I'm going to go ahead and get started and start to welcome folks. I am Whitney Soul. I'm the Dean of Admission and Student Aid at Bowdoin, and I am so happy to welcome you, class of 2024. Some of you have had the chance to visit Bowdoin or to meet an admission officer, maybe an alumni volunteer in person at some point along the way in your college search, but many of you never got that chance. And some of you are starting today from home and still haven't seen Bowdoin. And many of you arrived at Bowdoin today seeing the campus for the very first time. So to keep things consistent with the trends of 2020 so far, we thought it'd be helpful to have torrential rain for most of the morning for your move-in day and a little bit overcast and chilly for the afternoon, just so that we could show you that even in less than ideal circumstances, the Bowdoin community shows up and works together and gets it all done with good food and even a little bit of fun. So embarking on this chapter of your life with new opportunities and new people and new challenges can be exhilarating, certainly overwhelming. And those challenges can pile on. They're the ones that you were looking for, and they're the ones that are going to land on you. And sometimes you might question your choices. But, well, it's already obvious, nothing about starting college this year is what you thought it would be. It's not how those of us who work at Bowdoin thought it would be either. And yet we've spent months pooling our resources, our ideas, creativity, our problem-solving skills to put together an experience that will be very Bowdoin, even though it's so different from any Bowdoin experience that anyone has ever had before. And that kind of effort is exactly what the liberal arts and the common good are all about. We're working together across areas of expertise to generate the very best outcomes. And so where I sit in the admissions office, I can tell you that you've already begun to inspire us in admissions. And we know from reading your application that among many gifts, your class includes those who have organized blood drives, worked as a receptionist in a hair salon, served at a bakery counter, and you've shared your intellectual gifts as a Latin tutor or a teaching assistant for quantum mechanics. And you bring talent in tenor sax, mallets, piano, and as a Mexican dancer in the Hispanic Heritage Festival. You've captained teams and you've raised money. And before today, you've already shown us just a smidge of what you can do. And now at Bowdoin, you'll have even more opportunity. And like I said, you've already inspired us. So if you're nervous, or on the days when your excitement and your faith might feel limited, let us inspire you, because you can lean on us. We're ready. We're determined to bring you the Bowdoin family that includes big ideas, big challenges, lots of support, and definitely lifelong friends. This is true for those of you who are on campus and those of you who are logging in at home. We are a networked family. You are all part of redefining what Bowdoin can be. And you're the first and the only class at Bowdoin that has started school under these terms. You are surely part of history. I got to meet some of you today. I got to meet Kelly, Oliver, Juan, and Rose were just a few of those I got to greet as they were checking in. And I can't wait to meet the rest of you in person sometime soon, I hope. But in the meantime, welcome to Bowdoin. We're really glad that you're here in person and that you're logged in with us from home. Those are the remarks that I wanted to say to welcome you, but I also want to pass on to Clayton, who you've already gotten to know over video over the course of the last several months. You may have seen him today as you were checking in and he was walking around campus, either chatting with you or maybe your parents. But he's got some things he wants to say to welcome you officially as well. So Clayton, I'm going to pass it off to you.
Thank you, Whitney. So the first thing I want to say is welcome to Bowdoin. It is so fantastic to have you here. And I know it's been quite a day. The move-in day for college for everyone is a big day. As Whitney said, this move-in day is historic, unlike any other in the history of our college and the history of any college. And like much that you've done over the last 6 months and will continue to do, you're breaking new ground. We're doing it with you, and we're in this together. I hope you've had a chance to settle into your room, to get some of the, as Whitney said, some of the great food, gotten to know your neighbors a little bit from an acceptable social distance, and started to get your bearings. But this is going to take a little bit of time. don't be patient with yourself, and do not be shy about asking for help or for assistance. Um, as I know you know, there were so many people here at Bowdoin who've been working really hard over many months to prepare for today, for this week, and for this semester. And they are too numerous to really go through and properly acknowledge. But I do want to acknowledge two people, and they are the orientation interns, Tiffany Delgado and Jeremiah Brown. Tiffany and Jeremiah just rock. They have done an amazing job. And when you see them, please thank them, get to know them. They're remarkable Bowdoin students. But they have done an amazing job. And much of what you have experienced and will experience is a function of their hard work. There are lots and lots of folks who've done amazing things here, but Tiffany and Jeremiah have really been unbelievable. Um, as I said, I am incredibly pleased, so thrilled that you're finally here, and everyone here at Bowdoin joins me in that as well. We've been waiting for this day for a long time. Now, I have been asked to remind you and to reinforce a note that you received from Dean Lohman a couple of hours ago that we are in quarantation. And while there is this natural urge to want to get together, to gather, and so on and so forth, we really need for the next couple of days until we get past this initial testing period and get everyone tested negative, to have you really follow the rules about staying in your room, except to get your meals and to engage in the orientation activities that are scheduled, and getting some exercise outside your room. And the weather will be pretty good this week, so we should be in good shape for that. And please, please, please always wear your face covering when you're outside of your room. No exceptions, even when you're outside doing whatever it is you're doing. I know you want to connect, to get together with folks and so forth, and you can do that virtually, you can do that from a distance, and soon enough we'll be able to do that in a more normal kind of way. But this is important to building the practices that we need for keeping us all safe. Speaking of which, you may have seen in the last 20 or 30 minutes a note that went out to campus. One of our new students, our first year students, received a positive test while they were, results of a positive test while they were driving to Brunswick. That student is now in isolation in the at Stowe Inn, where we've got rooms set aside with private bathrooms and being taken care of by dining and by the staff and so forth, and until they're released from being in isolation. I just wanted to say how, and I assume and hope that our student is watching, and for all of us, to thank you. You have led by example here on the very best way to do this, of getting tested, of letting us know before you got here, going right into the isolation area and taking good care of things. So that's exactly what we all need to be doing, and we're learning from your example. So thank you for that. So I want to take a few minutes and share with you a couple of things that I share with every new group of students that arrives. Our first year students, most of whom are now on campus, a few of whom are at home, and our transfer students as well. After that, we'll set aside some time for Q&A if there are questions. There's nothing out of bounds if you've got them, about college, about Bowdoin, about me, about Whitney, about what's going on in the world, about whatever. If there aren't questions, that's fine, but we're happy to take them, and we'll do, I think, the usual upvoting method that we do when we do these kinds of town halls. I'm also looking forward to spending more time with each of you in the days and the weeks ahead. That'll come on the quad when we run into each other from an acceptable social distance, with masks, of course, but also in potentially virtual Zoom dinners with your floor. I have office hours that are every couple of weeks, virtually now, of course. There's no particular, you don't have to have a particular thing that you want to talk about. You just, if you've got a thing, that's great. If you don't, you just want to come and say hi and talk and get to know one another, that's fantastic too. And as we get through this initial testing period, maybe there's an opportunity to have some socially distanced pizza dinners or something with your floor out on the quad in the tents, or someplace that makes sense. So I look forward to all of that, and I really put that in your hands. Also want to remind you that we have closed captioning available, an expert in captioning who's working with us this evening. So if this is something that would be helpful to you, you've got that facility available to you on Zoom. So I have two ideas that I want to share with you, as I have with those two students that have arrived in the years before you. And I only focus on two because my hope is that you'll remember them and you'll think about them, that you'll talk about them with your classmates, that over the days and the weeks and the years ahead, that they'll roll around in the back of your head, and ultimately that they will excite you and energize you about what you're doing here. The first idea is that you are here to be challenged like never before. And the second is that you are here to become intellectually fearless. So in order, on being challenged, I think the better way of saying this really is that you're here to challenge yourselves. You're going to find the work here will push you. Sometimes it's going to push you really hard. And getting used to the level of work at college takes some time, and it takes some time for everybody. Do not think that you are the only one. You may see other people out there, it looks easy for them, but like ducks that are gliding on a pond, they are paddling like crazy underneath. Getting used to college is a challenge for everybody. And as you get your arms around how to do college and you move through your time here, I want to encourage you as strongly as I can to keep pushing yourselves out of your comfort zone in the subjects that you take and the material that you use to challenge yourself in all the things that you do. And in doing that, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to discover a lot about yourself. You're going to stretch and push yourself, and you will be able to accomplish things that you never thought possible, and you will discover passions that you never knew you had. The satisfaction from all of that is amazing. Sorry, my 14-year-old lab is in the background, and she's snoring and sneezing. So you'll get to meet Emmy at some point. Now, this isn't to say that you're not going to come up short or fail, not meet your own expectations from time to time. You're going to do that. That's natural. In fact, that's as it should be. This is how we learn. Not all the time, of course, and it's not fun all the time, but it is a natural part of the growth and the progression and the learning that you will do here. And the satisfaction that comes from hitting a wall, figuring out what went wrong, picking yourself up, and figuring out how to get around that wall is incredibly satisfying. And that is the world that you'll have here, and the world that you've come from, and the world that you will go out into. The other thing I want to share with you is around this concept of intellectual fearlessness. It is at the core of a Bowdoin education, at the center of our mission. Now, there are many things that you're going to do here. You're going to go to class. You're going to develop deep and lifelong friendships and relationships. You're going to engage athletically. You're going to do things culturally, artistically. You'll go and explore the outdoors of Maine. You'll do all kinds of things. And sometimes you're just simply going to goof around. And all of that is as it should be. But when we strip it all away, the essential goal is to help you to become intellectually fearless. The skills, the knowledge, the emotional fortitude to deeply and effectively engage with the most challenging issues and problems of the day. Now, to do this, a great liberal arts education, a great liberal arts experience must make you uncomfortable. So think about that for a minute. Fearless and uncomfortable. I'm here to become intellectually fearless, and making this happen requires that I be uncomfortable, at times rattled, and even offended. Our education and our experience are way more about the questions than they are about the answers. They're about challenging deeply held views and pushing us to engage with material that is new and to comprehend that material, to engage with ideas that are new and ideas that we disagree with. And in doing so, to consider material that shakes us up and that unsettles us. A great liberal arts education is not an easy thing, but it's deeply rewarding, and it'll set you on a path to ambitiously engage the world, to continue to learn, to confront the hard problems, and to enjoy success in doing that. You're going to learn new ways of thinking about old problems. You're going to test and in many cases affirm those things that you hold deeply. And on occasion, you're going to change your mind. So don't avoid being uncomfortable, embrace it. And tomorrow or a week from now or a year from now, when you're in class in a discussion, or you're listening to a speaker in Kresge, or you're in the dining hall or in your residence hall, wherever, and you hear something that kind of pushes your buttons, that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up a little bit, go to it, embrace it, figure out why you're uncomfortable or unsettled, and then engage with it. And that is how you learn. Now, this also has incredibly important instrumental or practical value for you. This is how you develop both the intellectual tools and the emotional strength to face down and deal with our biggest problems and opportunities, those things that are most important to you. And you have to be prepared both intellectually and emotionally to engage with the legitimate ideas with which you may disagree, as well as to understand and overcome the myths and the false rhetoric that have influence. And you need to understand and contend with both the legitimate data and insights that are out there, as well as the misinformation that's become weaponized. And you must be strong enough emotionally to engage with those of goodwill with whom you passionately disagree. Tough stuff, hard, but that's how you change the world, and you are going to change the world. You've earned the opportunity to spend the next 4 years developing the knowledge, the skills, and that emotional strength to be able to really engage with the world and its big problems, to become intellectually fearless. And how amazing is that? I am so glad that all of you are here. I'm so proud of how you've overcome so many obstacles to get here today. As our 7th president, William DeWitt Hyde, said in the offer of the college, which I suspect you know well, your time at Bowdoin, time that began today, right now, will be among the best 4 years of your life. So welcome to Bowdoin.